That's interesting because I know there's a lot of talk in construction over about mental health, and obviously there are deep challenges and issues with suicide in construction. People highlight that all the time. You don't necessarily hear that in a lot of other industries. I mean, you obviously perhaps with law enforcement or something like that. But why do you think people have issues with their mental health and with their stress in construction specifically?
I think there's multiple reasons. I personally have been through some of them. It is a demanding industry that you think about it like right now. I'm working on a project where, you wake up at 5 a.m., it's dark, and you stop working at 8 p.m. and it's dark. So you go home in the dark, you wake up in the dark, you're a lot of times away from your support system,
Yep.
which your family,
Yep.
if you're traveling. The life cycle of a construction worker too, you're thinking about like they're working long hours. There's a lot of caffeine intake. There's maybe alcohol at the end of the day. It's not a healthy system all the time. I got kind of entrapped in that as well, where it was two big cups of coffee, a Red Bull. Okay, it's 5 o'clock at night. I still got 2, 3 more hours. I'm gonna have another cup of coffee, and then I'm so strung. I'm gonna drink a 6 pack of beer to get to bed,
Yeah.
but I
Right.
got to be up at 4. So I think there's this vicious cycle out in the industry, and the other thing that I've noticed is people in construction are rough and tough. There are a lot
Yep.
of blue collar. They don't want to talk about if they're having struggles or feelings. That makes them look weak.
Yep.
So
That's interesting. Okay, so how did you get out of that cycle? Because a lot of people, I know people listening will relate to what you said. Caffeine in the morning, all the way through the afternoon, and then a 6 pack so I can go to sleep. That's like a vicious cycle that you're describing right there. Plus,
mhm.
getting up early, you're not getting enough sleep, and so you're just shot, and it goes on and on. How did you get out of that? How did you manage your way out of that?
I didn't manage my way out of it all. It was forced upon me. I was running 3 businesses, and you can't keep up on that kind of pace forever. And
Right.
and actually, what happened to me was I had a breakdown, where I physically my body shut down and said, "Listen, you can't do this anymore." And eventually, what that forced me to do was like, I need a lifestyle change,
Yep.
because if I continue this, I don't know, you know, if I can for first, but like, so I was actually forced. My body shut me down and said, look, you can't keep up on this high revved amplitude life, and you got to find a little bit better balance. Um, Luckily, I had a good support system that
Yep.
helped me get through that. It was very difficult. I'm a very busy individual, and I literally got pushed to, how to position in my life where I had to actually slow down, and learn how to handle situations better and things like that. So it was all forced, really. I mean, it was a learning experience for me.
It's interesting because as we're as people are listening to this, I think there's just a note that I want to make is that some of us are able to make changes when there's a little voice in our head. Some of us are able to make changes when somebody talks to us,
Hmm.
and then for some of us, it does take, like you said, a some sort of radical thing to happen, some
Yeah.
sort of breakdown or something like that. I appreciate you being open with that. I just want to say to the audience, if what Bryce is saying is resonating with you in terms of how you're managing yourself. And maybe right now you're at the little voice in your head stage. And one thing that you can do to take action on that little voice is actually to go talk to someone about it,
Hmm.
because that'll help you to articulate it. It'll get it out of your reptilian brain into your thinking brain so that you can kind of process it out a little bit. And just having a conversation with someone can really help you to begin to make changes before you get to the point of something tremendously serious, an outside event perhaps, affecting you in such a way that it's much more devastating. So I just want to make that note there. And Bryce, I really appreciate you sharing that.
And I'm going to completely second that. That's one of the
Please.
best things that I never used to do was share emotions or talk about what was bugging me. I always kept it inside. And the moment I learned how to do that and involve people in that and get it into your thinking brain and out verbally, it's therapeutic. It's so healthy. And that's really what I had to learn to do was communicate those feelings and learn how to manage them correctly.